Can you explain me what is the microservice architecture?
So, so microservices as opposed to monolithic architecture is uh, where one application is broken down into a number of parts. Like suppose we have an e-commerce application, we can divide that microservices it into a number of microservices like product page or payment gateway, reviews, etc. All those things. So it provides flexibility, a lot of flexibility. Like we can select different programming languages for different microservices, different databases for different microservices, and so on. So there are a number of design patterns as well, which we can use in the microservices to our suit our needs and better handle all those issues like uh,
So my question was, what is microservices architecture actually? What all components are there? Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
What are the different components you had involved in your microservices?
Um, Components as in that controllers, services, those things. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like project components you're talking about.
No, normal microservice architecture actually. What are components did you use it like? Can you define? What is the API gateway?
So API gateway is like one of design patterns of microservices. So it's also called as backend for frontend. So a lot of microservices are there. Suppose a lot of microservices are there, and so it will be a issue if when two microservices are talking to each other, and if suppose they have more than one instances. So it how it will know that which instance is up and which instance is down. So to prevent issues like those things, we can use API gateway. So by using API gateway, we have features like single point of entry to the application. So it can help us in uh, making our application secure by provide centralized login into the application, and then we can have features like load balancing, uh, like those things.
Okay. You had multiple microservices, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain how do you communicate between two different microservices?
So we can use REST template as well as web client. So earlier, what used to happen is like REST template will hold the thread until it has received the uh, data from the other services, which can make our application slow. But so in latest versions of microservices, they have provided a web client. So web client is like when uh, it will call the other microservices using URI and port, then method name. It will not hold the thread. So when the result will come, it will continue start its uh, function.
Do you know anything about synchronous and asynchronous way of communication?
Yeah, so synchronous is like when you are holding a thread. So suppose we have applied synchronized uh, uh, keyword in a method or a block, then it will only one thread will.
No, 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 no. I'm talking of synchronous and asynchronous communication. You told me of a REST client, right? REST template, sorry. That's
Yeah.
a synchronous way. So did you any, so that's a synchronous way of, because you wait for the response to come and then you process. So
Yes.
did you implement anything like asynchronous in your programming, microservices communication?
I have personally not implemented.
Okay. Any idea of messaging queue?
Apache Kafka we can use, but
Mhm.
again, professionally I have not worked, but I have taken up a Udemy course on that.
How did you secure your microservices?
So we had one separate
Mm-hmm.
microservice like authorization server. So what
Mm-hmm.
we were doing is like we had that microservice developed in 2017. So my boss asked me to revamp it with latest technologies. So I created a
Mm-hmm.
POC for that, taking latest jars. So earlier in what used to happen, like we have separate string security jar as well as string authorization server jar. So it used to create conflict between the two. So what Spring Boot people have done with the latest jar, they have shipped all those features together. So now all those issues are gone. So we can add the jar directly into Form XML, and it will all download all the jars, configurable jars, and then we can create our own configuration file to create implement the functionality. So there are various number of tokens which can be used, which like authorization code token, refresh token. So authorization code token, we will pass authorization code token with every request, and the authorization server will validate if the authorization token which we are getting is valid or not. Then there is
What is the token? What is the token?
token is like a piece of information which has three parts like header, then body, and then encryption. So this token, when any service other than the authorization service is making a request, so authorization service will verify the token that if it is valid or not. So there is some we can provide a timeout feature like in our application, the timeout is like 1 hour. So after the authorization token has expired, we can create new tokens using refresh tokens.
Okay. You worked on which version of Java?
I have worked till 17,
Huh?
17, Java 17.
So you might have used streams, right?
Yes.
Can you explain what are streams?
So streams are used a way of implementing functional programming in Java. So functional programming is like we can use functions as a variable and all the functional interfaces like we can use a lambda expression to implement functional interfaces. So a stream is consist of three parts. So first is like the creation of stream, like we will use the method dot stream. Then we have intermediate operations. A number of intermediate operations are there, like filter, map, flat map, etc. So we can call any number of intermediate operations on a stream. Then the third part is terminal operation, like collectors and min max. So terminal operation will give you the result whatever we have implemented on the stream based on our requirements.
But how is memory allocation done in Java 8?
So you're talking about strings,
Memory allocation in Java.
like for when a class, when we create a new, when we do new on an object. So all the uh, instance variables will be assigned a specific memory into the heap. So suppose we have string, so that string value will go into string constant pool. Then all the variables. So if it is class, then the class reference will go on the stack, and the actual class will go on the heap. So we have a reference of that stack to heap. So when we do a new, it will calculate. So suppose we have string. So string is like we cannot, that is JVM specific, but for integer, for long, those values, we can assign space for the actual values in the memory.
What is metaspace?
So metaspace, they have implemented in Java 8 to hold
Uh-huh.
all the string literals. So
Mm-hmm.
in prior to Java 8, it used to be firmgen, but since Java 6, they have removed firmgen and implemented metaspace for storing all the string literals.
One second.
Okay.
What are functional interfaces?
So functional interfaces are like when an interface has only one abstract method. So functional interfaces can be implemented using Lambda expression, which provide a shortcut or shortcut way of using that functional interfaces in streams. Instead of writing 20 lines of code, we can write that particular implementation in 1 or 2 lines.
What are threads in Java?
So threads are a way of thread is a class which provides
Uh-huh.
a way of implementing concurrency in Java. So
Uh-huh.
normally main is a thread, and if you want to create a thread, we have to create another instance of thread class and call the override the run method or and call the start method to start a new thread execution.
What are the different ways you can create threads?
So we can extend thread class and implement the runnable interface. So we should always aim for using the runnable interface, as Java does not provide
Mm-hmm.
multiple inheritance. So if we extend thread class, then we will not be able to extend any other class.
Can you tell me how do you create what are the different stages of how do you implement what are the different methods you call on threads to
So
uh,
so first we will implement the runnable interface and override the run method. So
uh-huh.
then we will create a thread by passing that runnable
Uh-huh.
interface into thread class. Then we
Mm-hmm.
will call dot start method on thread.
Okay.
So it will,
So
yeah.
when I called dot start method, right, what happens actually?
So dot start means like the thread state is changed to new. So when we call dot start, it is eligible for running. So it moves to runnable state, and then that thread scheduler can pick up the thread for uh, to be actually executing thread, and the status can be changed to running thread.
Do you have any experience on Angular?
No, Angular 1.2 I did long back.
Okay, so you worked on RESTful web services also, right?
Yes.
Can you explain what the RESTful web service is?
So a RESTful API is like suppose we have our service. So a number of other clients like websites or mobile application can call our service and consume it. So we can create a RESTful web service using a REST controller. So which is a combination of controller and a response body. So
Mm-hmm.
what it will do is it will fetch so we have a request mapping that is the URI to access that particular RESTful API. So when somebody hits that that URI, it will map the request mapping and it will come to the REST controller. So REST controller will internally call the services and the services will internally talk to repositories and get the data, whatever. And so when the data comes back to service, if we want to manipulate the data, then we can do that in service layer, and the service layer gives back data to controller, and we can return the result in JSON or XML format back to the client. So that REST controller provides a way of returning the data back to a client using in JSON or XML format. So if it were a plain Spring MVC, then we have to that view resolver had to do uh, that resolve the view and return the data to the user.
What's the difference between at the path param and at the path variable? Hello, you there?
Yeah, yeah. So path variable is like uh, when some data when we are sending the data in URI. Path param or
You have not heard,
path
you
param
have not heard
or
this? 1 second. Yeah, sorry, we are discussing path variable. Can you explain what's path variable?
path variable is when we are getting data as a form of URI in the form of URI.
Mhm.
So we can use path variable to fetch the data in the controller.
Okay, nice. Can you explain polymorphism?
So polymorphism, it's a feature of OOPS. So where we can one when class can act as more than one types, like many types.
Mhm.
So there are two types of polymorphism, like compile time and runtime polymorphism.
Can you explain how does runtime polymorphism
So
works?
uh, runtime is method overloading.
Uh-huh.
No, no, and compile time is method overriding.
You can explain me how do you implement runtime polymorphism?
So suppose there is one interface which has some one method, and we can implement that method into the subclass. So one method can more than one implementations can be done for that particular method. One class is implementing a method, and another class can provide a separate implementation for that method. So we can use either of those methods by calling creating objects of that particular
Okay.
class.
What's Maven?
So Maven is a dependency tool. So it provides a lot of features for Java projects. We can add the dependencies from the Maven website, and it will download the dependencies. It also provides uh, project configuration supports. Then if we want to change configuration related to our uh, Java project, we can mm, make changes in the Maven, and it will automatically change the Java versions or dependencies. etc. So it's the XML file, that form.xml, and yeah.
You worked on any document database, document like Cassandra or any,
No,
which database you have worked on?
Postgres and SQL Server.
Can you explain what are different joins in databases?
So we have inner join. So inner
Mhm.
join will fetch all the common data from two different tables. Then we have left join. So the first table, left table, will get all the records, and we common data from that right side of the table. Second table will be fetched. It will not fetch any data which is not there in the first table. Then the opposite of left join is right join. So in that case, on the left side of the table will not fetch any extra data. Then we have full outer join. It will fetch all the data from both the tables, and the data which are not there in the either of the tables will be set to none. Then we also have
Okay.
a self join. So
Uh-huh.
self join is when same table we have to create a relationship between any particular column within the same table. Like we have Facebook comments, so one comment is the reply of another comment. So we can create a hierarchy or student manager relationship. Like that.
Mhm. What are repositories in what repository tag does in Maven?
Didn't get you.
What does the repository tag does in Maven? That's something called repository, right?
Repository.
Mhm. The repositories pertaining to Maven can explain.
Which comes after dependencies, right? That one?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, given a program, right? I want to um, print odd numbers and even numbers using streams. Can you tell me how can you approach this problem?
So we can use predicates and filter method. So it will be like we have a list dot stream dot filter, then I
Mhm.
for every I uh, uh, that percentile 2 equal to 0 dot collect.
Mhm. What's the difference? What difference between Spring and Spring Boot?
So Spring Boot. When we were working with Spring, we had to do a lot of
Mhm.
configurations. So building the application itself in the beginning or while development will waste a lot of time. So to uh, prevent developers from all those issues, Spring people come up with the idea of Spring Boot. So you can just go to Spring Initializer website and you can add all the dependency, and it will give you a, production grade project within a matter of few seconds. You can just copy that project in your folder, uh, that software IDE. You can just start building your application.
Okay. Mm. What's a concurrent hash map?
So concurrent hash map is a way of uh, getting our that map which we can use in concurrency. Like we have bucket level logs in concurrent hash map, and we can do read operations without fetching the log, but for writing we have to get the log. So concurrent hash map, if you try to manipulate, if you are not using concurrent hash map, then it will throw a concurrent modification exception. So suppose it's the iterator is like concurrent hash map iterator is fail-safe iterator. So if you are performing any operation, then it will not result in concurrent modification exception.
Any experience working of test-driven development?
Sorry?
TDD? Any experience working on TDD?
No.
Have you worked on Git?
Yeah. Git and Tortoise SVN, I have experience with both.
Any experience working on HTML, JavaScript, jQuery?
Yeah. So Java query I used to do yeah,
jQuery.
jQuery. So it's been a couple of years I have used, but I can work on it. No problem.
Mhm. Why did you left your last job?